Bitcoin continues to reach new all-time highs, and alts are starting to heat up. We have four altcoins that we think will do well in the upcoming alt season for the rest of 2025. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoinbuzz.io, and as always, it's not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Also, make sure to join us for our X Spaces Tuesday to Friday at 9 a.m. EST, link down below. All right, good morning, guys. So yesterday, Bitcoin hit another new all-time high, just barely breaking it above 126,000, about $200, breaking an all-time high, then closing down below here. But it looks like we're continuing to go up today for Bitcoin. It looks like it's very strong, and it wants to break out even higher. Now, it's very hard to give price predictions as we're going into price discovery, so it's hard to say exactly how high it's going to go up right now. But things you could expect, and I would still be perfectly bullish, is if we consolidated around here for a couple days between 120 and $124,000, like I was saying yesterday. If we consolidate anywhere around here, that's perfectly bullish. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a base form, but it is very possible we continue to break out. Maybe go towards $130,000, and then maybe come down and retest this level later on. Usually, we retest prior all-time highs as support at some point, and so I could see that as we break out and retest this. That's a total possibility. But like I said, it's very hard to say what will happen as we go into price discovery. It's a lot easier when there's other prior levels on the chart. So not much to say on Bitcoin right now. It does look like we want to go higher today, which is overall good for our bags. We also have Ally Charts who says over 60,000 Bitcoin was bought by whales in just 1 week. We also have Look on Chain saying as Bitcoin breaks above $126,000, a Bitcoin OG just moved 100 Bitcoin for $12.5 million to 2 new wallets after 12 years of dormancy. He originally received 691 Bitcoin for $92,000 back then, now worth $86 million, and 12 years ago when Bitcoin was just $132. And then we have Anthony Scaramucci says Bitcoin, an asset, is heading towards gold's $23 trillion market cap.
What we see is the evolution of Bitcoin from being sort of a tech asset tied to the Mag 7 or tied to the NASDAQ to something that's more akin to digital gold. And as that starts to happen, and I predict that will happen as wallets expand. Let's say there's roughly 300 million or so wallets for Bitcoin right now. Imagine a world where there's a billion wallets, a billion holders. The volatility should dampen. That happened in Microsoft. That happened in things like Google over a 20-year period of time. And so you could see a scenario where more wallets, lots of institutions in the mix, long-term holders, dampening volatility, and then you have this positive flywheel where the volatility is dampened by long-term holders who are owning it in size, and so therefore that reinforces the idea that other long-term holders should come in. I guess the big thing you have to ask yourself, is Bitcoin an investment or is it an asset class? If it's an investment, then $1 to $3 trillion, that sort of makes sense. That's akin to a Mag 7 market capitalization. But if it's an asset class, then it should trade to closer to where gold is. And I think gold's, $22-23 trillion right now.
If you've ever wanted an all-in-one platform for crypto or even stocks, you've got to check out Bitget. Honestly, this exchange is changing the game. Bitget isn't just any exchange, it's got spot trading, futures, margin, and even copy trading. Plus, it supports a ton of coins and trading pairs, all with competitive fees. Security is taken seriously as well, with proof of reserves and a protection fund, so you can trade with peace of mind. And no other Tier 1 exchange protects your security this well. And one of the coolest things, Bitget is moving towards being a universal platform. That means you can trade tokenized US stocks like Apple and Nvidia right on the blockchain, all by using USDC without needing a traditional broker or leaving the exchange for another platform. And if you're into futures, Bitget Stock Futures lets you speculate on price movements with up to 10x leverage using a composite index of stock tokens. It's super beginner friendly and a perfect way to explore the market. Now, getting started is easy. Sign up, do your ID verification, deposit USDT or USDC, and you're ready to trade. And by signing up for Bitget, you have the chance to earn bonuses up to $6,200. So try Bitget today and get your bonuses. Here's how. This is our link for global users. For our UK users, sign up with this link. And if you're on mainland and Europe, use this link to sign up. Now, moving on to the first altcoin of the day, we have Solana, and Lark Davis says a big week for Solana. The final deadline for spot Solana ETF approvals is just 4 days away, and there's a high chance we get the approval this week, which is huge. So we could be seeing huge institutional inflows of money going into Solana this week alone. We also have a chart here showing all the public companies that are holding Solana as their digital asset treasuries. And you can see it's stacked up here. And as we've come into October, the number has exponentially grown, and we're starting to see a lot more companies holding Solana on their balance sheet, which just kind of goes with the narrative of Solana, ETF coming soon. And a lot of companies are front running what they think is going to be happening, as we don't even have a Solana ETF yet, but companies are kind of anticipating that. We also have Solana Floor saying in September, Solana dApps generated over $140 million in revenue, surpassing all Layer 1 and Layer 2 dApps in 30-day revenue. We also have in September, Solana recorded $125 billion in DEX volume, outperforming Ethereum for the 11th straight month, extending its lead as the number one chain for DEX trading. So Solana continues to lead everyone in terms of DEX trading, although BNB is actually starting to catch up now. The BSC chain is starting to do some numbers this week, as we have Aster and we also have BNB hitting new all-time highs of $1,300. So BNB is coming back in October, and so we could see it start to compete with Solana this month. Then we also have Solana sharing this interview saying the world's largest financial institutions choose Solana because it's the fastest, cheapest, and most reliable network with most users.
So banks are increasingly building stablecoin capabilities on Solana. You've got Societe Generale that has a MiCA compliant Euro stablecoin on Solana, and they've announced a US dollar stablecoin on Solana. Fiserv, which has 3,000 partner banks, announced that they're building their stablecoin platform on Solana. As you mentioned, Visa and PayPal, PYUSD is on Solana. And why do they choose Solana? They choose Solana because Solana is the fastest, cheapest, most reliable blockchain with the most users. 80 million monthly wallets. In fact, 3 million monthly Circle users on Solana. 3 million monthly active Circle users used it. Sent or received USDC last month and this month. That's a lot. And it's growing, right? And we're still very early. These are small numbers relative to the 8 billion people on Earth. But, these are large numbers and they're growing very, very fast.
Now, Solana actually looks really good here. We were saying we either want this to consolidate below this level of resistance right here, which it's doing right now, or break above and retest this. And it looks like it's doing the underneath side version, which is actually bullish. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see consolidate here a little bit longer, and then probably blow past here and go straight up to this next level of resistance around $263. And that could coincide with a Solana ETF being approved just this week as well. And so in bull markets, a lot of times we consolidate under resistance and we just shoot through it to the next level of resistance. I think that's a very high possibility for this next week if we do get the ETF coming out. And so Solana does look really good here. I like this as a level to trade. So you could enter right here with a stop below these lows here down here around $216. So it looks something more like this where you have a stop like this and you're looking to trade it back up to this next level here. And so that could be a trade you take where you have a validation below this resistance here, which is around 217. But I like Solana here. It's just consolidating here. It hasn't fully broken down. So even though it's underneath resistance, it hasn't fully broken down yet and come back down here yet. So overall, it looks good. If Bitcoin wants to continue higher, I think Solana will break through this level as well. And so I like Solana here. And then moving on to the next altcoin, we have CryptoRS and Sui saying Sui just received a massive endorsement. Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, hit the stage at Sui Fest in Singapore, calling Sui the hottest cryptocurrency right now. Many people have referred to Sui as the next Solana, but the comparison only matters if tech and apps follow. Track dev count, daily active addresses, and TVL. If those chart, Mr. Wonderful might have actually called it early. So we actually had Mr. Wonderful here, and Mike from Fungible Games was there at Token 2049 and this event. So will Sui flip Solana? Kevin O'Leary said, if I didn't believe that was going to happen, I wouldn't be here. So Kevin O'Leary was saying some big words supporting Sui on Sui's IRL Sui tank pitching competition this past week. So Sui had its own kind of Shark Tank. Then we have Marshawn Brown, who says Sui's stablecoin market cap is up 62% in the past 7 days. And also, Torero Romero shares that Sui saw another $177 million of stablecoin inflows in just the last 24 hours. We can see here, Sui's TVL is hitting new all-time highs. You can see here, it's actually kind of exploding this past month as we go into October. We're up at a $2.63 billion new all-time highs. And we have Ali Charles, who says the accumulation phase for Sui looks nearly complete. This is the zone to load up before we break out towards $7. And Sui also shares a countdown begins for Sui USDE arriving on Sui, powered by Sui's official Sui G and Athena Labs. Sui's first income-generating digital dollar native to a non-EVM chain is coming to Sui. And lastly, with the PerpDex era, we have Bluefin, the leading perps platform on Sui, with buybacks starting in October. Now, Sui is looking good as well here. We've been breaking out, and so I was looking for something like this. I want to see these higher lows and higher highs start to form. We've been consolidating here for a very, a good amount of time, since really July. Mid-July, we've been consolidating in this kind of downtrend. And what I expect to happen is probably something like this. We have this kind of, wedge forming. I expect we're going to break out of here, retest this, and wherever this kind of, higher low, forms, this is where I'd be entering. I think we are probably breaking out towards new highs. I really like, if you look at the high time frame, Sui looks really nice here. $7, definitely a possibility. I think we're at least, breaking above new all-time highs above $5.33. I could definitely see $6 and $7 for sure at some point, whether it's that towards the end of the year We really just need Bitcoin to make a massive leg higher, and then we need altcoins to then follow as Bitcoin goes sideways. So how big that leg will be, it's hard to say. But going into Q4 historically, we have pretty big Q4 rallies, just like we did last year. So I like Sui here. I'm waiting for it to kind of break out. I'm really waiting for Bitcoin to make a big final move, and then altcoins can kind of continue higher. But Bitcoin's just like slowly grinding up into all-time highs. So it's not that kind of big push that we've seen before. It's just doing a slow grind right now. So we're gonna have to see where that lands. And then for the third altcoin today, we have Ondo Finance, who says Ondo Finance has completed its purchase of Oasis Pro, including its SEC registered digital asset broker dealer, alternative trading system, or ATS, and the transfer agent licenses. This provides the Ondo Finance Group with the most comprehensive set of SEC registrations for digital asset services in the United States. With this acquisition complete, Ondo can now develop regulated markets for tokenized securities, laying the foundation for a new era of blockchain-based financial products for U.S. investors. Oasis Pro brings full stack digital asset infrastructure to Ondo, enabling a wide range of tokenized securities functions. Through this acquisition, Ondo gains an engine for tokenized real-world assets, a digital asset transfer agent and capitalization management solution, a primary offering marketplace, a multi-asset secondary trading system for public and private tokenized securities, approval to conduct secondary market activities for traditional NMS securities, tokenized or traditional OTC equities, and a corporate debt, as well as extended coverage for closed-end mutual funds, REITs, structured products, MBS, ABS, and privately placed securities, and a license supporting capital market activities, including private placements, underwriting, and MA advisory. So they just completed a huge acquisition that pretty much gives them, full reign in the U.S. to go forward with tokenized securities and RWAs in the future. And this was a huge acquisition that they haven't been doing much recently. They haven't been saying much, but recently they came out and they've been quiet for a reason. They just had this huge acquisition of Oasis Pro, which just kind of made them so much more legitimate than they already were. We also have a Gnosis, a safe proxy wallet, transferred 11.67 million Ondo for $10.87 million into exchanges. Of this amount, 3.63 million was moved to Arthur Hayes' Bybit deposits. Over the past month, a total of 40.77 million Ondo, or $41.25 million, has been deposited in Arthur's Bybit address. So Arthur Hayes has been accumulating Ondo heavily over the past couple months. We also have Ondo's TVL hit another all-time high. It just keeps going higher. Next target for Ondo is still $3. Now, Ondo, I will say, even though it's got this amazing news, it is still kind of in this level of consolidation here between around $1.16 and around 90-ish cents. It does look like it is starting to do a little bit of a higher low, but I'd like to see a little bit more separation between these, these lows and highs here. So I'd like to see a little bit something more like this, where we kind of do this at a bigger separation than this kind of small amount of separation we have right here. But overall, it doesn't look terrible. It looks like it's kind of just holding the bottom of this range. As long as this range holds, I do think we probably go back towards this $1.16-ish soon. But really, once we break above here and hold above $1.20, that's where we're starting to really get things excited, because I think we probably break through these levels pretty quickly. And so we're kind of in that bottoming range right now. Same thing I always draw, where we kind of have this bottoming range. We want to wait for it to break out above here, and I think that's probably around $1.20 where we get that real considerable momentum breaking. But if you did want to get involved in Ondo right now, it's probably at a pretty good spot where you could put your stops right below these lows. So if you were interested in Ondo, it's pretty easy in validation below these lows, at least up to this next level of $1.16. And so that's a decent trade for Ondo as well, if we are going to have a big push on Bitcoin and alts as well. And then for our last coin today, we have Plume, another RWA coin. And we've not telling us saying Plume officially a registered transfer agent with SEC and receive interest from SEC registered investment funds. Per CoinDesk article, Plume will now facilitate a range of use cases, including on-chain IPOs, small cap fundraising, and registered funds. Most notably, the technology aims to reduce tokenized timelines from months to mere weeks via smart contract automation. Plume said that it's already garnered interest from SEC registered investment funds. So big news coming from Plume and the SEC, and funds joining it. We also have Plume is now live on Binance Paid, powered by Binance. You can now send Plume payments to more than 40 million users with instant and gas fee transfers. We also have Masari saying Plume went from launch to leading RWA adoption in months. $577.8 million in TVL by September, 200,000 plus wallets holding 144 tokenized assets, backing from Blackstone, Invesco, and Galaxy, and Season 2, 150 million Plume incentives. Can the Plume network become the blueprint for RWA5? And lastly, Moses has been seeing a lot of uncertainty about the Plume token unlock in October on the crypto timeline. Let me make it clear to us, not as team members, but as a valid update concerning Plume token unlock, there won't be any unlocks until January 2026. I urge the Plume team to reach out to CoinMarketCap and other reputable data tracking platforms for far more reliable and updated details. Originally, there was supposed to be a token unlock in October, but it got pushed back towards January next year. So it's not fully updated on a lot of platforms. But he was just saying that, and it's interesting. We're in this plume consolidation. We've been talking about this forever, where we want this is a hot, big level of resistance around 12 cents, and you can even see we did this again for like the fourth time. We've broken through here, but we still haven't closed on a daily, and we just led to a sell off underneath here, closing fully below. And so I do think, at some point we're going to break above here and hold this. And that is the level to really get interested in Plume because it's probably going back to these highs very quickly. But it seems there's such big selling pressure around 12 cents. Anytime we get above here, it sells off instantly. So we are in this, very tight range here between around 8 cents and around 12 cents. And once we break above here, that's when we're finally going to get interested in Plume. I've been saying this forever, but this is why we kind of wait because it's just constant sell-offs. I mean, this is kind of where we get into the area of range trading where anytime it's back down at the range, you could pretty much take the trade back up here. But if you wanted to short, you could also do that, but not ideal in a bull market. But anytime it come back to these range, you could definitely take the trade back up to the top of the range. And then if it does break out and do what we wanted, you can then take another trade back above here. But Plume is pretty much in this, the same range right here. Nothing to do right now. We're kind of at this mid range here. So nothing I'd be taking right now, but we're still waiting for it to come back above 12.5 cents. So that is the video for today, guys. Those are the 4 altcoins we think are going to do well in this fourth quarter, going into the most bullish quarter. We have Bitcoin grinding up here into new all-time highs. It's just been slowly grinding. I think we're going to see kind of an explosive move soon. Hopefully it breaks us towards $130,000. And then maybe at some point we come down and retest towards 125 again. But even any kind of consolidation around here would totally be fine for Bitcoin as well. So we're going to have to see what happens. It's hard to predict what happens into price prediction and price discovery. So that is a video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.